And Kathleen Walker, New England Endurance Events, and we're here tonight for the Falmouth Triathlon. I'm going to share my screen with you. We'll start off with what's new for the for this year's race, and then we will move into things about there. Hi guys, oh, I see that nice Falmouth shirt. Thank you. We will. We'll then move into talking about the race in general for those of you that have never done Falmouth before. I know there's a few of you out there. And then we will also, the last part of tonight's meeting will be for those that are new to triathlon altogether. That often when you're new to triathlon, you have lots and lots of questions and you don't know who to ask. So you can ask me. In just a little bit, we'll also have my co-race director, Andy Shirting, will join us. So, so sit back, relax. If you have any questions, please throw them in chat. Let's see. Dale, did I say a different time? I don't know. So yeah, the race starts at 7 a.m. So thank you, Dale. If I said 7:30, my apologies. We used to start at 7:30 a long time ago. But we don't anymore. So for all of you, I'm also going to put in the chat, since Dell reminded me it was there, that is the link to the Falmouth page. So on the Falmouth page, there is a link there that will lead you to the athlete's guide. So if you have a question later on and you want to check it out, then you can just use that link, or you can go to the Falmouth page, you know, just straight to the Falmouth page. There is the link and you'll be all set. All right, so I'm going to share my screen and then we'll kind of go off and on that for a little bit. So if you pardon me for just a quick sec, let me get that on for you. All right, so there we go. So there's the Falmouth Triathlon. So as I mentioned to you, we're going to start off with what's new for this year. So changes for this year. Saturday packet pickup, like it was last year, but for those of you that haven't done the race in a few years, the packet pickup is at Mullen School. So it's Mullen Hall School, which is downtown. All packet pickup will be there. Registration for Saturday, the night before, will be there. So if you have friends that are planning on coming, they don't want to sign up until the last minute, then they'll do that at the Mullen School as well. You'll get everything that you need there, and there'll be plenty of people that can answer any questions for you or anything like that. We will have no spectators near the transition area. They can be over by the finish line, as long as they're kind of try to stay away from athletes coming through. They can be on the beach, but we don't want them right in that transition area. And then a modified swim start is what we did last year. It was kind of what we call a time trial start, but it was between waves. So it's, I think we're going to get, Andy, 8 people. We can get 8 people across. So we're going to do 8 people at one time every 10 seconds. So, and that's within your wave. So let's say let's just say, this is just an example, don't hold me to it. We have men 20 to 29 and they're going off first. So it'll be 8 men at 10 seconds apart, you know, boom, 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 boom. You'll get to listen to me. And then once that wave, once all of those 20 to 29-year-old men go through, we'll stop. We've got 2 minutes and then we'll start the next group. So in that 2 minutes will be time for me to give you all that last minute stuff again, that reminder, keep your buoys on the left and, you know, basic course stuff that that's good to be able to get at the very last minute. It also gives a chance for our lifeguards to make sure that they have some gap between each of the waves, which keeps you safer and better for the police. They like to see a little bit of gap in the bikes. That way the motorists, they can get some motorists through. So, so we've got a few reasons for that. So I hope that you remember that on race morning when you're like, why aren't we going? So that's why you're not going just yet. Subway sandwiches for our post-race nutrition. I think last year we didn't do, so when I'm looking over this way, I'm looking at Andy, who's sitting over here. He's going to sit with me in just a minute. You're fine, you can stay there. The Subway, I don't think we did last year because of COVID. So this year we have Subway sandwiches again. So that's our post-race nutrition. There's also Athletic Brewing has brought us, sent us lots and lots of non-alcoholic beer, which is really, really tasty. So we'll have that post-race as well. And then we always do other prepackaged stuff. Some people don't particularly like to do the sandwiches. They want to be able to like read the ingredients, and that's no problem. We will have that at the race, post race as well. Yeah, if you want to look that up. So then we'll have yoga on the beach, and that's at 9 a.m. And award ceremony is roughly at 9:30. And then what I should have put first was that race clinic is Saturday at 5:30. And that's,
It says in the athlete's guide 6.
does it really?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So I guess it's going to be, tell Trish that then. So, so athlete's guide, ignore that. Look in the athlete's guide. Don't look at what I have right here. 6 p.m. and that's at the race site. So that's on the beach. So, and that is by Trish Cundiff. She usually has a couple of friends and family there to help as well. That is great for any of you all that are new. Trish will run over the course. She has done this Falmouth race for probably 20 years. So she knows this course well, and she is an amazing coach and athlete. And so you'll get a lot of great information from her. All right, so what else is new for this year? We're trying something, we're trying something a little different with tri-tats. You know, when Andy and I race, we often race in Florida in the winter when the only time we have any opportunity to train. A lot of those races do tri-tats. So instead of like writing on your arm with a marker, they do the bib numbers that you put on with like a sponge. And so we're going to try that this year and see how you guys like it. If you don't like it, send me a note and say, yeah, that didn't really work for me, or I just love it. So that way we'll know. But we're doing it for this race. So so we have the bib numbers on both arms. Your age will go on your or relay for R for relay will go on your left leg. We will have sponges there if you are picking up your packet race morning. If you're picking up your packet at night, please do that at home. It will certainly save you some time. We also, of course, have bib numbers you wear during the run, bike numbers for your bike, and now we'll also have helmet numbers on the front of your helmet. So, so you will be marked up completely. That will be great for photos, and of course, for things like drafting and stuff like that. Yeah, so we also have, I don't know if you guys can hear Andy. So we will also have a few of our beloved Rotary Club members that come out every year, and they will use the Sharpies on you if you're like, I really don't want the tri-tats. Can you just get a marker for my arm? Yes. They'll also be out there, so you can get it done that way instead. Either way, as long as you're marked, that's what makes me happy. All right. So so I was mentioning the swim wave, 8 athletes every 10 seconds, 2 minutes between waves. You'll look for your wave number, and then you'll get into into the corral. Swim buoys will be on your left. If anybody is a little anxious in the swim or has a medical condition that you think that we should be paying a little extra attention to you in the water, then ask for a red swim cap. You see the gentleman right here has a red cap on. It's no problem at all. Just ask for it in registration, and we'll give you a cap. That makes us feel better because then we know that you're, hey, you want some extra ice, so we're willing to give it to you. And of course, makes you feel better because you've got a little more attention on you in the water. All right. All right. So here's a few reminders for this year. So some of you have been racing with us for some time, and that's wonderful. We really appreciate that. But it's always good to have the reminders since Falmouth only comes once a year. All right, Andy, do you want to come sit over here with me and talk a little bit about where people can park? All right. So here comes my guest and co-race director and partner and husband, Andy Sheridan.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining in today. We'll answer questions at the end, but let me kind of give you the brief overview. Several decades ago, as the race grew in popularity, it no longer became possible for the athletes to park on the neighborhood roads surrounding the swim, well, the triathlon area. Also, there was a lot more building and there was a lot more summer people who, yeah, anyways, it turned into a real problem. And actually, we did not hold the race one year.
Well, not us. It was a long
Kathleen and
time
I were
ago.
not race directors at that time. Rich Havens was. But we had to take, the race had to take a year off while we sorted things out. And everything has run wonderfully since then. I'm guessing we're coming up on 20 years of that. And we have now about 7, 8 satellite parking lots, and you can take your choice. A lot of it depends which direction you're coming from. You can look at the map that's in the athlete's guide. You can print the map out if you wanted to and bring it with you. You can choose the lot and then just soft pedal with your bicycle transition bag on your back. Or if you're having a family member with you, maybe they'll want to carry the bag while you bicycle in. That's the best way of doing it. Kathleen and I have been race directors since 2017. Before that, I raced Falmouth 21 years, I think. My favorite place to park was at the same school where the registration is. They got a big parking lot that wraps around the school and the school that's right behind it. Sometimes I also park down by the Inner Harbor. That would be it's the Marine Park. It's number 7 on the map that Kathleen's showing. Those are my personal favorites, but whatever works for you. They're all about the same distance to the beach.
All right,
That's all
no
I have.
problem. Okay, so this map is also, I believe it's part of an athlete's guide as well, right?
It's in the athlete's guide.
Okay, no problem. So if you're not sure where to park, check that out. All right. Oh, I wanted to take a quick step back. I was talking about Subway sandwiches and my mind went blank. Rexel Energy Solutions are who are providing the Subway sandwiches for Falmouth. So thank you so much, Rexel Energy. They've got a number of racers that are going to be with us, and it was really really great for them to be able to help with the sandwiches. So we'll make sure to have a sign out there, and also if you see anyone that says anything that says Rexel, just say thank you so much. This is delicious. So that would be much appreciated. All right, so Andy, here's the map. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. All right, so that map shows the swim, which is in pink, the bike, which is in red, and the run, which is in purple. Once again, in the athlete's guide, you can look at this map more closely and zoom in on it if you wish. You can also send it as a PDF to your printer take your time with it and get to know it well. The course will, to some degree, let's see, the swim course, let's start with that. The swim course for this race, we find the safest and the most enjoyable is to start the race not quite 1/3 of a mile away from the transition area, but you do have to walk down the beach a bit to the west. It works out well because the beach is rocky in spots, but where we have the start now, it's nice and sandy, and people seem to enjoy that. So the pilot buoys for the swim course should be out by late tomorrow. So if you have the opportunity to visit Falmouth between now and race day, you can go out there and take a swim. We don't use the big orange buoys yet, but the pilot buoys, the marker buoys we use right now are orange in size, and they're about in color, and they're about the size of a basketball or a volleyball. So you can look for those. There'll be about 7 to 9 of them. It's a sharply rectangular course that's fairly close to the shore. And we find that a lot of our newer athletes love being able to see the shore just 50 yards away or less. So that's the reason why we do it that way. bike course, you'll see the large parking lot there in the upper right of the map that Kathleen has. There's something that is not completely correct in that the bike will start at the far right
you're right.
side
You're
of that.
Right, so the bike actually
parking
starts right here.
Yeah,
Yep, there you go.
that's where the bike out is. And don't worry. I'm going to back up just a little bit. When you come off the swim, you will run into the transition area. You will find yourself sort of running alongside the transition area before you enter. And now the fair play rules of the sport and rules of our governing body, USA Triathlon, are such that we want everybody to have approximately the same effort that they have to accomplish to complete the race. So wherever you put your bike, know that you're going to have to run with it or push it or run without it about the same distance as the rest of the competitors.
I'll go through the transition in a minute.
So the bike course, you'll go by, you'll head on a surf drive, you'll head west. You'll go past Mill Street, Elm Street there. You're still on Surf Drive. At some point, Surf Drive, I think it's around Oyster Pond Road. You actually merge with the road and you're on Oyster Pond Road. But for all of us, most of you, as you're going along, you're still on the same road. You're going to take that road all the way till you get to a sharp right-hand turn, which will go into the campus of the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute. You will ride your bike through the campus. There will be some signs in the areas where it possibly could be questionable. You'll probably also have a lot of company on the bike. There's, we have over 600 athletes in this race. You'll come out of Woods Hole. You actually have a bit of a tough corner here. This is probably the only tough corner of the race coming out of Woods Hole because you're going downhill. It's possible to pick up speed, and then you're making a sharp right. Now, there will be 3 or 4 signs warning you of this before you get to it, but you should know it ahead of time. Always keeps it from being a surprise. You'll make a right-hand turn onto, well, it says Surf Drive there. That's actually Oyster Pond Drive. And you will follow it to a right turn onto Knobska Road. Knobska Road is this short little stretch here that's going to take you to Woods Hole Road. Now, the town has given us an entire lane of Woods Hole Road, and it's only maybe 300 yards that you'll be on Woods Hole Road before you make a left turn onto Church Street. It's the busiest road in town, particularly because the steamship authority is just a few blocks away. So they've given us an entire left lane. So that might seem a little counterintuitive when you make that left onto Woods Hole Road. That wait a minute, I'm on the left side of the road. That's the way it is, and you'll see plenty of cones and signs to help you on there. And then you'll make a left turn onto Church Street. You'll head up to Knobska Light, and you get to go by the lighthouse, and you'll start seeing some beautiful views of Martha's Vineyard. If you're not concentrating on the racing, please, there's plenty of bicycles will be around you, so don't spend too much time gazing at the waters. Around the lighthouse, the road actually changes in name, and I'm telling you this just in case you decide to go to Google Maps or something and try to follow yourself. It changes its name to Knobska Road, and you're going to take that back. You will not notice a difference, but the road actually changes. Its name officially changes to Oyster Pond Road again, and then it changes one more time to Surf Drive. So, but it's pretty much a straight shot, and it brings you back. There's not a lot of hills on this course. The only slight gradual incline is as you're heading out of the flats of the transition.
Yeah, and going up to the lighthouse. That's not gradual. That's a good hill.
Well, that was my next.
Okay, so don't bury the lead. That was.
There's a somewhat of a short, steep climb to the lighthouse. Then you're pretty much all downhill from there on. So I say this just from a standpoint of expending your energy. Of course, it always makes sense to drive the course beforehand, but or well, ride it, I don't know, that's kind of a busy town in the summertime. But some of you don't have that advantage too. But no, once you've gone past the lighthouse, you don't have much tough work ahead of you. So if you want to think about how you want to maximize your bike, that's a good way of going. It's also great to be able to spin fairly easily as you're coming into transition, because that's going to help you get your legs ready to run afterwards. You'll go into that parking lot on Surf Drive as soon as you hit it, just past the beach house. So that's a different entrance from the where you came out of the transition area parking lot. You'll get your bike put away. You'll head off on the run. And once again, you're also heading west. You're heading toward that beach house. You're going to go past the beach house, and you're going to be running along Surf Drive. Now we divide up Surf Drive so that there's a bicycles out, and there's a bicycles in, and there's a running lane as well. And you're going to run down Surf Drive for about 1 mile, and you'll make a left onto the Shining Sea bike path. Now you're on a bike path, and you'll be running on the right side of that bike path, because eventually you're going to make a U-turn and be coming back. So you will see lots of green cones on the right run course. That's kind of like your signal as to where to go and how to stay safe and not run any risk of running into anybody. So you turn around, head back to the finish line, and you will have about a 75-yard run on the sand. Sorry, but there's only so much space. So if you can gut it out for that 75 yards while you're running in the sand of the beach, you'll cross the finish line, and then you can get the satisfaction of having accomplished something 99% of the country, the nation, or the world can do. Can't do.
Can't do.
Yeah, cannot do. Something like this.
All right. So we'll take any questions for that a little bit later. And actually in just a few slides, if you have any questions about that. But I want to show you transition as well. Andy kind of alluded to that. So so the swim, this makes it look like the swim starts really close. As Andy mentioned, it's between 1/4 and 1/3 of a mile down the road or down the beach. So this is just for convenience sake. It is a little bit farther down. You'll enter the water and keep the buoys on your left. You'll come out. This would be coned. There'll be a big red arch. You'll go into transition, and Andy had also mentioned about that being fair. Like for USAT, one of our rules as a sanctioned race is that we make sure that there are entrances and exits on both sides. So you're either running in, running out, but you're biking in, biking out, and so forth. Yeah, that has to be separated in transition to make it fair for everybody. So that's why you run down this swim chute, and then you enter transition way over here, away from the beach house. You'll get on your bike, and then you're going to bike out right this way. You'll stay on the right side of the road. As Andy mentioned, there are bikes going in both directions through here. The bikes have 3/4 of the whole road, and the runners will end up with the last quarter and a little bit off to the shoulder. So you'll go here and you'll follow that course that Andy mentioned. And then when you come back, you're going to bike along here and come into transition on this side. We do have flags. I'll show you them in another slide so you kind of know what they look like. Then once you get your rack your bike and so forth, you're going to run here. So you're going to run past the bathhouse. There's a little bit of sand right here, and then you're going around the bathhouse and onto the road. The runners go out this way. Runners come in, and you turn. There's a turn in the dunes. So of course we'll have somebody there telling you where to turn in, and then you'll get to do that famous beach run. So it's not that far, and there's lots of people there. Save a little bit of energy because as I've known from years past when I was able to participate, you save all your, if you save a little bit of energy, you can actually run past people instead of being like, oh man, I can't do it, and I've got all these people watching me. So so save a little bit of energy, so that way you can run on the sand and finish through the chute. So that's transition. You can see we will have some water monsters that will be out for bike bottles if you need it. But we also have water stations with, like little cups that will be in the transition area coming in from swim. No bike exchange or no water exchange on the bikes. It's too short. We'll also have a medical tent that will be here. Timer will be in this area. And we do have Sea Sports for our bike support. So they usually have a tent or they have a truck with a tent. So if you have a mechanical issue, they can help you with that. All right, there we go. So when you come into transition, of course, we're going to check your bikes to make sure you're going to be safe through that downhill that Andy was mentioning. And also make sure that you have bike plugs. If you please check before you actually come to the race, and make sure that you have got a bike plug. If not, stop at your bike shop. We also have some of the bike support will have some of these, but every once in a while they run out. So if you check your bike beforehand, you won't have to worry. So that is a USAT rule, and it's one for your safety. If you crash, this handlebar will actually go into your side. If the bike plug is there, it has less of an opportunity to do so. So please check those. All right. Transition. I think last year we only did, maybe it was 6 bikes per rack. But normally we have 8 bikes per rack at Falmouth, and we'll do that again this year. So it's 4 bikes on each side. Just switch your bikes around so it's every other, so that way everyone can fit in there, and that would be a huge help. There's also just a few reserve racks, relay teams. There'll be a whole section of racks for I think we've got like 25 relay teams. So we'll keep them off to their side. So if you're relay, look for those signs. And then some of the clubs, if a club has more than 12 members, they get their own racks. So sometimes there'll be a reserved for in a certain club. Please avoid those unless you're a member of that club, but otherwise you can rack your bike anywhere you like. It looks like Andy's coming back. What else would you like to say?
You should be able to, we should be able to get by with 6 bikes on the racks, sometimes 7.
Okay.
Yeah, we've done the math.
Okay.
So if you see 6 bikes already, you may want to look around and look for another rack that has less than 6 to go onto. On the other hand, the racks are capable of handling 7 or 8 certainly, and they have actually for years prior to when we got into this COVID situation. We actually bought extra bike racks because of that, but I think we'll have to bring them to the race. So,
Okay. All right. No problem. So there you go. So you heard it. All right. Stay here.
I could.
Okay. All right. So before we go into this next section, let's see if I think there were some questions that were showing up in chat. So see if we can answer those. That way, those of you that would like to can move on, and the rest of you can stay with us. So Jeff had asked about. I'd mentioned that packet pickup was at Mullen Hall School. Registration is there as well. So if you have friends that haven't registered yet, they should go there. Also, you can't go down to the beach. There's really no parking unless you're doing the swim clinic, in which case you will not be able to park in the parking lot. You'll have to park on the side of the road or go down. It's like maybe 1/8 of a mile. There's a parking lot down past the beach, and you can park there after 5. So,
But if someone wants to register Saturday morning, Sunday morning, sorry, on Sunday morning, they have to come to the beach. There will be no one at the school.
that's a good point, right? So Saturday night is Mullen School. Sunday morning, you got to come to the beach. We won't have anybody at the school. All right. Swim wave, Mark asked about swim waves. I do not set swim waves until after registration closes, which is tomorrow. As soon as I assign bibs, I will also be assigning waves at that time. As soon as I have those, I post them to the race details page that was the very beginning of the chat. You can check there. We usually post that to Facebook as well. But I can't do it beforehand. I need to get everybody in. Space you guys out well. All right, Aquabike details. Aquabike was a You swim, you bike, and you're done. So for aqua bike, your race is done as soon as you cross the mat with your bike. You don't have to run through the finish line. You certainly can, but you do not have to run through the finish line in order for your race to be counted. If you like to go through, go ahead and you'll get a finisher water bottle, and you'll get lots of cheers, and that's always fun. But you don't have to.
Okay, see this one, closed course.
Wait,
Is
wait,
this
where
a-
are you? Wait, for gloves.
I'm following.
Following right here, Dale. Right there.
I don't have.
Oh,
it
that was a
on
direct
mine.
message. Oh, I guess not. Well, Dale asked me personally. Bike gloves, if you want to wear them, or if your friend wants to wear them, that's fine. No problems there. Okay. Closed course, Andy, that's you.
Technically, the course is not closed because we can't guarantee you that someone is not going to get up in the morning, decide that they want to shoot over to Stop and Shop to get some groceries for breakfast, pulls out of the driveway and is on the course. You do have to be alert, but for all intents and purposes, you will be the only ones out there. But we do have to give that warning. When you hit Woods Hole Road, you will only have one lane of that road. And what the police officers will be doing, just so you know, is that they will be letting traffic heading in one direction go for a little while, and then they'll stop them, and they'll have traffic going, motor vehicle traffic going in the other direction go for a while. So there will be vehicles on that road, but not in your lane. And so it's a quite safe race from that standpoint. But once again, you always have to be alert. We had a situation a couple of years ago where someone who was a recreational cyclist who was on the bike path, and the bike path does cross the bicycle course, ignored the warnings of the volunteers and said, "I don't care, I'm going to go across." And there was an accident. The next year, we were able to convince the police to station an officer there. So you do have to just be alert. It can't be perfectly buttoned down, but you won't see much of anything in the way of traffic.
Right. Transition opens at 5:30. So you'll be able to rack your bike at 5:30 on Sunday. One day. Elva, thank you for asking about the 1 day membership. In years past, USAT has allowed us to just give you a form that you fill out, and it has a waiver, and you sign it, and you hand us money, and then we pay USAT usually in like one big bulk. They did away with that. So now we've been sending you guys reminders saying, get your USAT. You're not going to be able to do it at packet pickup. That's what we mean. So they've given us a link that we can use after registration closes, but you're going to have to use your phone to do it. And then you're still going online and adding that 1 day. Save yourself a lot of trouble and follow the link that, the emails that you've been receiving, follow that link and just do it and get it done with. That will definitely save you time. We can't accept cash for a 1 day. We can't have you filling out forms there. USAT doesn't allow that anymore for any sanctioned race. So hold on just a sec. So if you can do that 1 day beforehand, that would be a huge help all around. Awards are 3 deep. So that's per age group. Age group is every 5 years. And then Clydesdale, Athena, Elite, Aquabike, newbies, relays. So they're all first, second, and third place.
I like the next question.
The mirror.
Is this one a gun store?
Oh, no. Oh, it's all right. So I've been, so some of you guys are direct messaging me, so no problem. So I'm going to answer those because other people might have the same question. Handlebar mounted mirror, that's fine. That's no problem to have. And you can keep track of that person that's been, has been right behind you. So no problem. Ideas to rent a bike, Bike Zone, because C Sports isn't renting bikes anymore, but Bike Zone is. So I would call them.
They
Right
have
away.
several locations, one of which is in Falmouth. The other bicycle shop, I don't know what kinds of bikes they're currently renting, although they have in the past, I think, rented a few road bikes, is Corner Cycle. in Falmouth.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
So-
Swim gun start. No, we don't do that.
Last thing we
Do
want
you-
to do is spike your heart rate.
Right. We're trying to keep your heart rate like down to like a manageable level. You're already all excited because you've got a race going and your heart rate's up. I'm going to be like, go. So that's exactly what you're going to hear like 1,000 times. So, no gun start though, but I appreciate you asking because other people might have wondered the same thing. I'm going to answer that USAT question, Ross, at the end with when we're going through the new athletes. And I think Brian also has a new athlete question, so I'll save that. If you're already registered and you're checking in on Sunday, or if you're not registered and you want to race, go to the race site on Sunday morning. Mullen School is only for parking on Sunday and for packet pickup on Saturday. Brian, I'll show you those bike plugs in just a minute. I've got a slide. I'll show you what that looks like. Andrew saying same thing with what does a bike plug look like? Just what is a bike plug? We'll cover that. Mounting bike sounds like sorry, I'm kind of like scanning through these. I don't know if you guys can see all of them in chat. No headphones. There we are. Thank you. This is a good one, Lisa. This comes up all the time. You may not wear headphones at any time in our course. At any course, it's not safe. It's against the USAT rules. You'll get at least a 2-minute penalty if you're caught with headphones. You may not listen to anything on the bike or the run or the swim for that matter, if you have that. So no headphones whatsoever. That is definitely against USAT rules and our rules.
You need to have your ears fully
Fully
available to listen to people around you and everything. that's
Possible
happening.
cars, anything. Yeah, it's completely not safe. I know you do it in training, but I can't stop you there. So, but not at our races, please. Water temp. You know what? I was just talking to the head of beaches today and I didn't ask her. Andy's going to the beach tomorrow. He's going to be in the water for quite some time. So he will take a thermometer.
If I remember the thermometer, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Someone send him an email. He's Andy@neevents.com and say, Andy, please bring a thermometer tomorrow. There, he's going to write a note. So that's a good question. The wetsuit is legal up till 78 degrees. So most likely you'll be able to wear a wetsuit if you choose to. Nitson elite swimmers go one of the first waves. So that would be better for him. So 5:30. Our 5:30 meeting actually doesn't start. It's not quite at 5:30. Say our 5:30 meeting and the 6 swim both at the beach. Laura, I'm a little confused by that.
Saturday night, maybe.
Saturday. Oh, there we go. Thank you. That
It's
helps.
all 6 o'clock.
It's all, yeah, sorry. It's all 6 o'clock. That 5:30 is my mistake. Andy put it in the athlete's guide as 6. That's what we're doing. So 6 o'clock, that is at the beach. So you'll either park on the road, which is always iffy, or you can just go down the road about 1/8 of a mile. There's a parking lot there. You can park there and then just walk up. All right. The parking lots from the race site, the parking lots that you park in on race morning, it's about 1/3 of a mile. So you need to plan ahead. It's usually a nice walk to take before going to the race. There's going to be lots of athletes out there and spectators. Everybody else is kind of walking, doing that same walk. And I don't know, I've kind of liked it over the years when we were participating. And it's just what we have. So it's around 1/3 of a mile. You don't think so?
It's
1/3 of a
long,
mile?
it's longer.
Okay, so it's a little longer. So maybe it's a half mile.
It's
It's not that far. I mean, I would allow 10, 12 minutes. And if you're on your bike, I mean, you can ride your bike down there. It takes no time. It's not bad. But do make sure that you've allotted time so that you can have plenty of time in transition.
It's about 1 to 1.5 miles.
No, it is not.
So much for your sense of
No,
distance.
it's not. From Main Street? From
Well,
Main Street to there? I don't know. I think
I'll
Andy's on.
I'll do the school then.
Right.
Yeah.
Our races for swim, Mary asked about color-coded swim caps. We do have swim caps based on your wave. Sometimes there'll be a duplicate swim cap. Let's say the elites go off first, maybe they're pink. Then you might see that pink cap again for, for one of the newbie waves, which is last. So, but usually you can look around you and go, okay, everyone's got the same swim cap I do, I'm good. So we will do that as well. Water is well above 70. Yeah, I'd expect it to be in the 70s somewhere, but probably not 78. All right. So does anyone have any other just basic questions? And then I know that there's a lot of questions from new athletes that I love to answer. So if anyone actually, I think there was somebody had raised their hand a while ago. I probably answered a question at some point along the way. Let me see if you have a question that is not a new athlete question that's specific for this race, then put up your hand and or throw it in chat.
Google doesn't know where Surf Drive Beach is,
There you
the
go.
thing. So it's actually 1 mile from the Marine Park, and it's 0.9 of a mile from the Mullen School. So there'll be plenty of spectators coming to the race who will park, and they'll just walk along the sidewalk.
Yeah.
So if you're wondering about, obviously it's an easy little bike down there. But if you're wondering how long it'll take a spectator to get down there, maybe 20 minutes at the most, 15 minutes.
Yeah,
to
not even
walk
that. If
around.
you're walking really slow.
All right.
All right. So there's questions about sorry, you guys have lots of questions. I'm so glad. The swim waves will be posted by Thursday. If I can get them up tomorrow, I will. You are required to wear a swim cap. If you have a latex allergy, bring your own swim cap because ours are latex.
Color coded.
Yeah, I've already answered that.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so I'll post the swim cap. Sorry, I got to get back in there. Favorite parking lots. Andy was talking about Mullen School is usually where we used to park. That's just direct. It's like right there, and there's like 2 different parking lots because there's 2 schools that are really close together. So so that's the easiest.
Athlete's Guide, if you look at that, you'll see the Mullen School, and you'll also see, I think 7 was the Falmouth Marine Park, which was another spot that I used to go to, but that was also because I was coming from down Cape, and so I would get off Route 6 and work my way down through East Falmouth and to the race. You may be coming, if you're coming down from the canal, for example, or down on 28 from North Falmouth, you may find one of the other ones better. Do want to mention one thing though. The merchants in Falmouth have been wonderful to us, but they've got businesses to run. There's coffee shops, there's breakfast places, there's some stores that open up early. Please do not park on Main Street in the lined parking spots that are parallel with the street as you go along. Please use one of the lots that we've shown in the Athlete's Guide to park, because on top of everything else, those merchants have a lot of clout with Town Hall. And
Right, and we like to do this race.
We do not want them angry.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. You may not be dropped off at transition area. You're an athlete. You can get in your car, park your car, and then you can ride down. We can't have cars coming and going through that Surf Drive Beach. You're just better to go ahead and park downtown and then walk with everybody else or ride your bike. There are toilets and there are sinks, not in transition though. That sounds like a newbie question. So that we do have porta potties. We do have bathrooms inside the beach house, which have actual sinks, but not in transition. So, so whatever you got to do it before the race starts or in the water if you're swimming. So that's just a known fact, right? So, all right. So on that note, all right, so I'm going to save all the newbie questions for this next section. So that way anybody else who's raced with us before that maybe hadn't done Falmouth or something like that, like you guys get to go eat dinner, and then I'll take care of anybody else who has
There's
questions
one
in the chat.
non-newbie question, which is, do we have kiddie pools? Yes, we do.
Okay.
So you can get your feet nice and clean before you put your bike shoes on.
Okay, so we're gonna go back to, we're going back to the PowerPoint. Here you go, guys. All right, so we actually kind of covered this. I kind of skipped over it. So we're talking about that ride down. So most people do ride, you know, have something, your transition kits, that way you can carry it or walk your bike. We talked about the swim being so far down the beach. You can go down the beach this way like everybody else, or I just go on the road. I find that a little easier for me, but either way, you'll just end up down by the swim start. Buoys are on your left. And then there's those kiddie pools that we were just talking about. There you go. I knew they were around somewhere. I don't know where they were. Transition, we were talking about, you know, 6 to 8 bikes per rack, just depending. Make room for everybody, please. And then of course, only run or walk your bike in transition, never ride. This is going towards the beach house. You can see the beach house here. That's where the run out is. And it runs right along the side of the finish chute. So you'll go this way for, I mean, you're on the sand for what, 100 feet maybe, and then you go around this building and then you go out onto the road. So that's the run start. You can see the kiddie pools are here because you're running along this left side to be able to go from swim back into transition. And then this is our flags. The green ones are going out, red ones are coming in. That transition, I feel like there's a few of you that probably need that. So that's just what I was just talking about, run start. That was right here. That's where that picture was taken. And you go out and just go around the building and then off you go. All of registration, you see where that is. When you come into transition on Sunday morning, you'll have a little route here. You'll be able to come out and you'll do your registration, pick up your packet, whatever it is, and you'll be able to get back into transition. Okay, so hopefully that's clear. There's a bathhouse. There was a question about bathrooms and such. Bathhouse is here. There's bathrooms there, and then we have porta potties all along the front. All right. I think Andy had mentioned before that the bike run courses are pretty close together. We're taking up the whole road and taking up the side, but you're all out there. There's 4 lanes of traffic, whether you're biking in, biking out, running out. So all of that is happening right along the way. So where these 2 ladies look really happy and they're running side by side, most likely there was somebody else that was coming near 258 that was coming at her that was like, oh, move out of the way. So try to run single file if you can. It will just help you from getting hit head on by another runner. And that beach run right here, it's not terribly far, but it is, you know, it is a beach run, and the beach is pretty thick. It's not hard sand. And then the run out was right along here, but by the time, you know, athletes start coming in, a lot of people have already finished running. So, so the run goes out and around, and then this one comes in. All right, now we've got all of the questions for new athletes. So if you're a new athlete, I hope you stay on. If you're not a new athlete, you just want to hear, that's wonderful. Or feel free to move on with your night. Thank you for joining us. All right, new triathletes. I'm gonna kind of go through all these. It's going to answer some of the questions that you guys had in chats, and then we'll answer any questions that weren't already, you know, that we didn't already just cover. So you guys all ready? Everyone ready? Somebody shake their head or something. Yeah. Okay, here we go. New to triathlon. All right, I mentioned early on, I know some of you have joined late, that we have bib, bike, and helmet, helmet numbers. Bib, of course, like, you know, racing bib, like you have a 5K. The bike number goes right here. See where she's adding her bike number? You can put it anywhere on your bar. Keep in mind that wherever you put it, you don't want it where you're where it's going to rub against your thighs, because otherwise that is a really long time. Even with 8.5 miles, it's not a long bike. But when you've got something that's rubbing against your leg, it's really long. So so either move it back or move it forward, or you can put it on your seat post. So either way works fine as long as we're able to see it. And then your helmet, your helmet number goes on the front of your helmet. And then your bib, you only have to wear the bib during the run. If you have a race belt, then you can just put that race belt on during the run. or you can put the bib on early and just leave it on, like you just safety pinning it to your shirt. We do have safety pins. So you can do that too. Keep in mind, if you're putting your bib on and you've got like a shirt and you're not wearing a wetsuit when you go to swim, you're going to lose that bib in the water, or it might rip your shirt. So just keep that in mind, that you want to make sure that you have that covered up in some way if you're swimming with your race bib on. So it's up to you how you want to handle that. But I've seen some go into the water and, the athlete comes out and the bib doesn't. Tri-tats. This is a tri-tat. So you'll have that. It's like a little sleeve. You'll follow directions, put that on. You usually use something wet, a sponge or something of that sort. If you're picking up your packet the night before, that's great. You can do that at home. And you see how this is straight on. That's what we'd prefer. So, so you'll have 131 in this case is on both of his arms. And then on his leg, on his left leg, his age. Or if you're in a relay team, then you'll have an R. So either way, that helps. If you're running behind somebody or biking behind someone, if you should be going a little harder because maybe they're in your age group, or maybe, sorry, I'm letting some more people in here, you'll know if oh, that person in front of me is like from a different age group, I can save my energy a little bit. So whatever works. That's kind of our guide to, as an athlete, your guide to how fast or slow you can go depending on other people. All right. So you can also, we'll have the Rotary Club will be there, and they can also number you with a Sharpie. So it's up to you. Both are hard to get off. There's just no way around that. You can use like baby oil or something like that for those tri-tats, anything oily, and that usually helps to get it off. Sharpies, just wash it, just keep scrubbing it, and it will eventually come off after the race. But you might want to like show people that you're racing, so that's always nice. It's a little humble brag, you're an athlete. So either way, they can either number you or use the tats that are in your packet. There's that number right here. This will be his age on your leg. Some people have asked about how do I rack my bike? You notice racking by the saddle or the seat. Always rack by the seat. Don't rack by your bars, particularly your brakes. So if you rack by your brakes and somebody else knocks into your bike, you might end up damaging the brakes. And then you're going to go on that hill that goes through the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute, and you're not going to have any brakes. You don't want that. So always rack by your bike seat. You'll see that other people are doing the same thing. And then we want you to rack every other. And what I mean by that is this bike is facing this way. The next bike is going to go the other way. And that way it's less chance of knocking into each other. Sometimes when you're going to grab your bike off of the bike rack and your handlebars are all close together, you end up knocking somebody else's bike off, and that nobody wants them. So
while you're racking bikes, someone asked about how early they can put their bike on there.
5:30 a.m. Yep, and that's in the athlete's guide. So definitely look at that schedule so that you know what to expect when. So this person has their bike shoes attached to their bike. I'll tell you from experience, don't do that unless you've been practicing at home. So race day is not the day to try something new. You end up on the ground as you're trying to come in, you're trying to dismount your bike. So don't do that. You can always, I'll show you right here. You can always put just a towel down. You only have the space to the right of your bike wheel. You just have a little space there. You can't take up lots of room. So in this case, this person has a transition mat and their bike shoes are already on their bike. So they have their running shoes, bike helmet. It's upside down, so you can just take it and flip it and put it on your head. I usually leave my sunglasses in there as well, so I'll put those on first, and then my helmet. In this case, you're going to have your wetsuit on already and your stuff, so you won't necessarily have it sitting here, except after the swim. Please do not take off your wetsuit and your stuff and toss it. Sometimes I see that. Someone's going to trip over it, and it could end up like way down in transition, then you can't find your stuff. So particularly helmet too. People take off the helmet and they toss it down, and then it kind of hops away. hard for everybody else, and then you might not be able to find it later on. So keep all your stuff when you take it off, put it all right back in your transition area, and that will allow you to be able to hang on to everything, and you won't be in the way of other people. This is tri-slide here. Sometimes it's hard to get your wetsuit off, particularly around your ankles, or if you have a long sleeve. Sometimes like trying to get it off your arms gets hard, and you can use this tri-slide. Probably if you order on Amazon, you can get it by the race. Some people use other stuff though. What else can you use? What's a home remedy for tri-slide?
Oh, Pam.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess so. You could use Pam, but don't use it much because it's not really great for wetsuits. But if you have trouble getting your wetsuit off, that's like a
It depends how much you love your wetsuit. That's an old school.
yeah, that's what we used to do way back in the day. There's lots of things like that we did. Also used to strip and transition, which we don't do now, please. So, all right. So all of your stuff is sitting right here on your transition mat, and it's all lined up in a way that when you go to step back up to your bike, you're going to be able to grab what you need and go. This person has his shoes tied. Most likely they're the what do you call it ones? The elastic. There we go. The elastic ones, so you can just slip his foot in. But if you don't, you have to tie your shoes. Leave them untied and open, so that way you can just go slide your foot in, tie it, and off you go. Remember some kind of cap or visor because it's very sunny there. There is no shade on the bike, on the run course, on the bike course maybe, but on the run course there is no shade at all. Make sure you bring sunglasses and a cap. You're going to definitely want that. And if you need sunscreen, then I would lather that on beforehand too. It really is a sunny course. We're hoping no rain. That's for sure.
There's nothing wrong with wearing socks if you want to. I would only suggest run without socks if you've practiced doing that.
Right. And there are the socks. That just reminds me of the kiddie pools. Like there are kiddie pools, so you can get the sand off your feet before you go putting them in your bike shoes. That works. I personally don't use the kiddie pools because sometimes you're in a rush and you don't want to slip and fall in those. But I carry an extra water bottle and I squirt my feet when I'm in transition, and then I have a little towel, and that way I can get the sand off, blot my feet really quick, and then go. And at least I don't get blisters.
Someone asked about the towel, and yes, of course you can use a towel, but they asked about the basin. And at some triathlons, even these days, but certainly at many triathlons in the old days, people would bring, sometimes they'd bring like a kitty litter box, or they'd bring a bucket or something like that. But we don't do that anymore.
Right. There will always be somebody in transition that has like a basin or a bucket or something like that. But what you find is that they really get in the way. And it's just so easy for somebody else to knock into that. And maybe it will be you, somebody's got, has got this, big basin there, and then you end up tripping over it and it hurts your race. And that's not really fair. So if you use the water bottle, on squirting your feet, it's much smaller and it doesn't get in the way. So that's my personal unsolicited advice. Red swim caps. So I mentioned way early on that we have red swim caps available. These we consider our safety caps. If you are anxious in the water, particularly with this being your first triathlon or almost first triathlon, the swim is the most daunting part for most people. So if you wear a red swim cap, it alerts the lifeguards that you could use a little extra attention. It doesn't mean you're a bad swimmer. It doesn't mean that you're necessarily a newbie. It just means that you want some extra eyes. So if you have a medical condition, like please wear a swim cap or wear a red swim cap. You can get them when you pick up your packet. Just say, hey, can I have a red swim cap? Someone hand it right over to you. So that we have athletes. I see some of the same athletes that have been racing with us for years and they have the red swim cap. So like, if I can get extra attention, why not? I'm in the water. So, so by all means, grab one of those. I usually have some with me when we go to the swim start. So if you said, oh, I don't need that, and then later you decide you do, no problem. We might have swim angels too. I'm not sure if Stephanie can or not.
But we should mention something here, because you may think you don't need a red swim cap, and maybe normally you don't, but you get out there and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm winded, or I cramped up, or whatever the case might be. remember, you can always, first off, if it's serious, signal, just get your hand up in the air. Lifeguards know. But also, as you go past a lifeguard, we're going to have a lot of lifeguards. You're going to see one every 20 or 30 yards as you swim along. You can always stop and rest with the lifeguard or some
Hang on to the rescue
kayak
board.
spotters. You can
Yeah.
hang on. They won't take you toward the finish line. That's not allowed. They will bring you in if for some reason you say, I've had it, I'm done. And we always have a few of those every race, so don't feel funny about it. But you just know that you've got that as well. You're not on your own for a full vertical mile.
Right. There's always, and we have some athletes that are like, they get out there and they've been swimming in the pool and the pool was just fine, but all of a sudden they're in open water and they've got all of these people around them and, salt water and a little chop, and it's daunting. So they'll they'll just go from lifeguard to lifeguard and hang on. I don't really recommend that. That seems like that ends up being more exhausting, but there are some people that do it. So no, you've got a big spectrum there. You're swimming completely on your own. You're not paying attention to lifeguards too. Every lifeguard is your friend. Whatever works for you, that's fine. You can do any stroke to get through the swim. If you want to use a safe swimmer buoy, those orange ones that just kind of tag along behind you, you can, but you need to be in the last wave. That way you don't clothesline somebody else while you're swimming. So that's no problem. We don't mind that at all. And I was thinking, actually, usually for Falmouth, we end up with a couple of swim angels, but I think that they've all become staff at this point, and they're or athletes, and so they're racing or helping with other things. And I might bring my swimsuit, and I might, anyone who wants to there. All right, now I'm saying it. Swim with me. Swim with me. So I might swim it'll have to be the last wave because I have to call the other waves. So if you want to, you feel a little anxious, you're like, I'd really like a swim buddy, then wait to the end, and I'll make myself a note to make sure I'm wearing my swimsuit before we start. And I'll get in the water, I'll swim with you. It's no problem. I love swimming. And I love swimming with those that are a little bit anxious, because it's just great to be able to do that.
And here's a secret: she didn't always love swimming.
I think that's why I enjoy helping others, because I started swimming at like 30 years old and I was terrible. I'm still not absolutely wonderful, but I'm good. So I'm happy to do that. Just hang out with me, and then we'll go at the end. All right, there you go. So lots of lifeguards Andy was talking about. They're not this close together right here. They're just waiting for the swim start, but they will be throughout the course. And you will go left. You'll keep that swim buoy on your left shoulders. That's the best way to think about it. Buoy's on the left. And the lifeguards will be all around that, and they're watching you and they're cheering you on. A lot of these lifeguards, including the 3 that are right here, have been lifeguarding this race for years, like since they were in high school. And they come back year after year because they love this. It's a lot of fun for them to be able to watch you guys and to cheer you on. And they are there. They volunteer. We give money to the lifeguard fund, but they personally are volunteers. So they're doing this because they love it. So so you've got lots of support. All right. So there's mount and dismount, and some people might get a little confused with that. This yellow sign right here, and this one happens to say dismount. When you get on your bike outside of transition, before you start biking, there's a sign that says mount. That's where you get on your bike. You don't get on your bike before then. Then when you're finished with your bike, you're going to come here, and somebody here, this is Barb, she was telling these guys to dismount. So one dismounted, one is still ready to do so. So you'll do that too. You'll dismount right near the sign, and then you'll run your bike into transition. Never ride your bike in transition, or any transition. That's not just ours. That's just safety and the USAT rule. Somebody asked about, well, what are those rules? So I want to avoid a penalty. One is, dismount and mount when you're told to do so. Never ride your bike in transition. That can be a disqualification. So you definitely don't want to do that. We also mentioned headphones. Do not wear headphones in this race at all. Enjoy the moment. I know during training people wear headphones, but that's not nearly as much fun. This is a lot of fun. You're going to want to listen. So no headphones on the bike, no headphones on the run. There. When we say walk in, walk out, really, you can run in, run out with your bike. Just don't ride your bike. So I beat that dead horse. Let's move on. So I'm going to take us off of, there we go, take you off the share, and now we'll answer other questions, just all of us together.
Yes.
Will you go
Yeah.
through that, and then I'll look at some other questions here. All right, so we talked about swim caps. Everyone will have a swim cap that is based on their wave. Swim waves will be posted on Thursday, if not before. Thank you, Laura.
There's a question from Ross that maybe, Ross, we may invite you to email Lori. Yes, it has to be with the USA Triathlon number, and they've got a receipt, but the system's not recognizing the number.
Oh, no, wait, right, yeah, and yeah, you could call Lori at meevents.com, Lori. But what I've noticed is that a few athletes are putting in the like the reservation number, the confirmation number, which is like 3 sets of numbers. It's quite long, but really what we're looking for is a number that's it's maybe 9 to 11 digits. When you do your USAT membership, like by clicking on the button in the email that you received, it usually will take care of itself. Like you'll put that in and then it automatically goes into our system. If not, email Lori, Lori at neeevents.com, and she'll take care of you. If you just bring that receipt, actually, here's another trick. Print out the receipt from the email and bring it with you race morning. And then as long as we have proof that you have a 1 day, that's really what we're looking for.
There's a question about, is there a specific spot for mounting onto your bike? And Kathleen just showed the photo of someone dismounting. There's also a big sign and volunteers or staff members there who will tell you time to get
Right. They'll tell you when, don't worry. So Suzanne has a great suggestion. We were talking about trying to get your wetsuit off. And if you don't have the tri-glide stuff, she uses hair conditioner. That is a great idea. I had not considered that. Hair conditioner.
And your hair looks wonderful at the same time.
Yeah, that's good. Great advice.
The bike plug thing, it seems like there's still a little confusion. Those are at the end of your handlebars. If you have, well, for most bikes, there are some specialized triathlon bikes that do not have.
Let me see if I can find a
handlebar
picture of it.
ends. So they should not be empty. And so like hollow, you're looking actually through the handlebar or through part of the handlebar.
I bet I can find the
They
image
need
again.
to have a cap on them. So
Oh, okay. Here, I can show you guys. Let me, I just pulled it up. Okay, so let me move the chat out of the way. So do you see where so he's checking the brakes, right? Right here, that, as Andy was saying, shouldn't be hollow. There should be something, it's usually a little plastic piece it's normally black. It's a plug. Because this is, your handlebars are actually hollow. And then there's this little plug that goes on it. There are some handlebars that don't have that. An example, she has like those rubber things, her handlebars go straight across. And so she's got like the whole handlebar has like this rubber thing that goes on. So that's fine. But anytime when you have these like ram type of handlebars, you've got plugs right there. You should have plugs.
she has on the end of her straight bars.
You're right, but it's a big rubber thing that goes all the way across. It's not like just a plug. So does that help?
Okay.
Does that work? Okay.
Another question on the water temperature and wetsuit legal. We fully expect it to be wetsuit legal, and the water temperature the past 2 years has been 72, actually 73, and then 72. And tomorrow we'll put it on social media, and I think we'll put it in the athlete's guide as well.
Yeah, that'd be good. There's a question about coconut oil. I'm not sure. I don't know if that would work or not. I guess you could try it, but I wouldn't try it on race day. I would try it like tomorrow. So that way you'll know if it works or not. So, and I think Jim just reminded me that we will have this recorded. Well, we're recording now. So I'm going to post this recording to our YouTube channel and to the Athlete's Guide. And then I think that also usually Amy puts that on Facebook as well. So there'll be different opportunities if you didn't get to listen to the first part, or you have friends that said, "Oh, I didn't know about that," then send them to YouTube or our website. You'll be able to find it. So timing. This year we have non-disposable timing chips. So it's like a little Velcro strap that has a squarish kind of receiver on it, and that goes around your ankle. So you normally put that around your left ankle. That way you don't have to worry about it getting, in anything with your, with your gears or anything like that for your bike. So you'll put that on your left ankle and you wear it the entire race. If for some reason you lose it, you're going to want to go to the timing tent and say, "Hey, here's my bib number. I just lost my chip," and then he'll give you a new one. Otherwise, you won't be able to have a time. If you're a relay people, so when you have your relay team, right? So you've got your swimmer, so you have a swimmer or a biker and a runner. You're going to take that timing chip off of, like, after the swim, the swimmer comes in, and normally what we say is whoever is not doing anything is the one that's going to move the chip. So the swimmer just came in and that person's really tired, right? And then the biker is getting ready to go. So make the runner take the chip off of the swimmer's ankle and put it on the biker's ankle. And then do the same thing when the bike comes in, then the swimmer gets to switch it over for the runner. And that way, like, nobody's going to get, sometimes you get kind of dizzy, like, because you're going around and then all of a sudden you're bending down really quick and you're in a hurry, let the other one do it. But you always want to switch that timing chip, because that's how we know that you've crossed a timing mat. So there are mats at each of the sections that we're timing. So swim in, bike in, bike out, and run out. And then of course, when you run in, you're going across the mat for the finish.
We have another question from Elva about the 1 day and difficulties in getting that. And want you to know that you're not crazy. USA Triathlon does just recently implemented some new rules on getting these 1 day passes, and they're very arcane and it's very difficult. And we're going to try to help you through it. If you cannot purchase the 1 day online, which you say you're just having trouble getting that, only needs to be an annual option, you can purchase the 1 day at the race. You just have to bring a cell phone and a credit card, am I right?
You can use a QR. Yeah, we'll have a QR code. But the reason why you're not able to do that 1 day, it sounds like, is because you're going right to the USAT website, which isn't going to work for a 1 day. You have to go through the registration system of the race that you're doing. So you would if you have not gotten your 1 day yet or renewed your USAT annual, then you need to follow. You've received at least one email, probably 2 or 3. You need to go to that email, and on the bottom, there's a big button. It's usually green. Click on that. Follow that lead, because that is linked directly to the USAT system for our particular race. Because always, you can't buy a 1 day without it being associated with a race. So that if you go directly to the USAT website and you go to the membership, you're not going to be able to sign up for a 1 day. You only get the annual option. So you have to follow the link in the email. If you didn't get the email, then you probably unsubscribed, and so you're not getting your emails. I just sent out an email this morning with the reminder for this athlete meeting, and on the bottom, our system automatically adds that little link to do your USAT. Go ahead and click on that. That's fine too. But either way, you have to go directly from a race email or registration. You can't go through the USAT website. It's just the way they do it.
There's a question about the variety of penalties. There's not a long list, but it's a list. So we won't go over every single penalty that you can receive. But we'll say is go to the Athlete's Guide. It's the very last chapter of the Athlete's Guide. It lists all the penalties, and you can take a look at it. We will have officials on the course, and they will be looking for violations. I would say the most common violation is less than courteous behavior on the bike, such as riding right behind the bike that's in front of you, which gives you an unfair advantage. Or
Right, and that's called drafting.
That's
And
called
you'll
drafting.
hear that word over and over again, don't draft.
don't draft, or riding just on the left side of the lane that you're supposed to be riding in, and that makes it difficult for others to pass. So, because passing should be on the left, you should always stay on the right, except for when you're passing somebody. And so take a look at that section, and I'll let it go at that because we still have
Right.
a lot more questions. here.
Okay, okay. So another one on the bike that I see often that is super dangerous is crossing the yellow line. For some reason, that happens more in this Falmouth race than it does in our other races. I know sometimes it gets, if you're a fast cyclist, it gets frustrating because the course is crowded, and you want to like pass several people. Just don't cross the yellow line. That's dangerous for you, and it's it's dangerous for everybody else, and you could get a penalty. So so please be careful with that one. Okay, what other questions do we have?
Did you answer the one about the requirement to wear a swim cap? Yes, you have to wear one at the race, whether it's if you have
Yes.
latex hours,
Yep,
you
yep.
bring your own.
Then you got to bring your own. Oh, wait a minute. Ross, you asked for knee events. No, you need one more E in that. So I'm going to put it. Let me see if I can send this to everybody instead of just to.
So our little company's New England Endurance Events, so you can think of it that way, NEEevents.com.
There you go. Yeah, for some reason you might be able to put it. Is your chat? Can you do it, because you've got everyone, and I can't seem to get that on my little thing here. So just
Lori,
put in Lori. Yeah, so Andy's going to put in Lori's email, so you can just cut and paste that. And she will love me for that. So you guys just send her a note, tell her hello. She gets a lot of emails on race week. So oh, so that also reminds me. Race week right now, you guys are good. If you want to send an email to Lori, go ahead and do that now. By Friday, she's not checking emails, or it's very hard to be able to check emails. And Andy and I are the same way. So we're doing a lot to get that race ready, and we just are not sitting at our computers. Race weekend, you're not going to get us. If you email us, we probably won't see it until Monday. So just to warn you that, we're just not available while we're trying to get the race ready for you.
okay. Question, probably someone arrived late about the buoys. They'll be set up by the end of the day tomorrow. If you head out to the beach and around 4 or 5 in the afternoon, likely you'll see Scott Brown, our swim coordinator, and trying to place the anchors in a straight line.
There's the challenge. All right, there will be water. So that's a good question. There is water, ends up being about mile 1-ish, right? So you think when you get to
It's almost exactly 1
Okay.
mile and then 2 miles points of the 3 mile run.
Right. So when you get to the Shining Sea, you'll on the map that you can go to our website, you'll see it. That'll be the easiest way. When you get off the road, you're going into the Shining Sea the bike path. There's a water stop there, and then you'll see that water stop again after you've gone the path and you've come back. So you get 2 options.
There's also the option as you start the run, like you may be thirsty after that bike ride. You can at the water table.
Right. Caroline, I'm not sure what you mean by shifters at the end of the handlebars.
Oh yeah, that's like twisty.
Is that what you
That's
mean?
what you're
Oh,
talking
yeah,
about.
that's fine.
That's
That's been a while I've seen that. So no problem.
We've had people with mountain bikes do our race, and they seem to have the biggest smiles. So,
Yeah, that's true. Very true. Yeah, so you can have a mirror instead of a plug. We just don't want that to be hollow, because that will puncture you if you're in an accident. So we don't want that.
yeah. Someone wants to know if she has to get off the bike and walk. That's allowed, but please get far over to the right side of the road.
But yeah, that's sometimes that happens.
I've had to walk plenty of times due to mechanicals. I used to get flats like every other week for a couple of years there until I figured out what I was doing wrong. So Walking's allowed.
It happens. Megan was asking about the USAT membership. I know it is so frustrating to have to do that. And we hear your, we feel your pain. We hear what you're saying. But everyone has to have a USAT membership. That's part of our insurance. And it's also part of yours. If you were injured in some way, maybe, you had a bike crash or something like that, then you've got supplemental insurance through USAT because of the race. So every member, every person that's racing has to be a member. So if you've already gotten your 1 day and you're having trouble with that, if you just bring that receipt that shows that, yes, you purchased the 1 day, then that's enough. We just need to show that you have it.
I've done all the general questions, but you have some specific that
Okay.
came into you.
All right. So
she's a cancer
I know,
survivor. Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
All right.
So Mrs. Griffith, first, thank you for racing with us. I'm glad you're okay. Yes, you all can ride. You can all be in the first timer wave, and that way you can race together. If you are not, if currently when you guys registered, if you didn't all register as a first timer, then send Lori an email and ask to be switched to the newbie wave. And that way, it doesn't matter if you're male, female, what have you. Like I normally have 2 newbie waves because we usually have around 100 athletes that are first timers. And so I just split them up. So you can go up any way you want. I just don't want 100 of you going off at relatively the same time. So however you want to do that is great.
We do have a request though for first timer waves and for friends and family waves, which is please on the bike course, don't ride together in a clump or next to each other.
Right.
And same thing with the run as well. You can be near each other, but just don't be on top of each other. It makes things difficult on the rest of the athletes.
Right. And I'm sorry for the last one. I just got to the bottom of your message. So my apologies. So you can put your running bib on in transition if you wish. If you like to do it that way, that's fine. And you've answered the bike question. And I think that's it. Is anyone, does your timing start when your wave goes off? That's a good question, Ryan. Yes. Your race doesn't start until you cross the mat at the swim start. So if you want to be anywhere in a wave, it's not going to make any difference. Your swim starts once you actually cross the mat. All right. I think we've answered everybody's questions. If there's somebody's question that has not been answered, my apologies. Throw it in the chat now, and we'll make sure to get you all set. So Andy mentioned way early on, or maybe I did, that Trish has the swim clinic. So 6 o'clock. Apologize for my original timing. I said the wrong time. So 6 o'clock on Saturday at the race site at the beach, there is a swim clinic. We call it a swim clinic. It's really a race clinic. Trish will answer any other questions you might have. And normally there's an opportunity to swim at your own risk at the end of that. And the pilot buoys, the little small buoys, they look like little yellow soccer balls, will already be out there. And so you can kind of swim around that and get an idea for what that feels like. But she is an excellent resource. If you've had the opportunity, I would definitely come Saturday at 6 for that. All right.
A question just came in about the number for the run. What we suggest you do is, if you do not use a race belt, which some you'll notice at the race, some athletes do, and then they can just grab their race belt, which has the number on it, and put it around their waist and go off on the run. If you don't have that, and that's fine, then you do need to pin your number to apparel of clothing. Some people, it will be a shirt that they specifically have for the run. They're able to put that on when they go for the run. It's got the number on it. Others will wear it for the bike and the run. The only thing, and you can wear it if you have a wetsuit over it on the swim. But if you wear your bib while you're swimming and you don't have a wetsuit on, there's a chance you're going to lose that.
Yeah, it'll slow you down. Yeah.
And sometimes people accidentally lose their number. Don't worry, it's we're not going to send the the police out after you. But
But that's one reason why you're numbered everywhere else.
yeah,
You're
sometimes
numbered
people
around.
lose their bibs during the race. We understand that. So,
Right, right. So relay swimmers, starting with triathletes. Yes, you're now going to be a triathlete, even though you're a relay team. So yes, you do start. Usually I have relay teams starting in some of the earlier waves. So you will be swimming with everybody else. All right. Does anyone have any other questions? Last chance before it's time for dinner. All right. Thank you all so much for coming and spending Tuesday night with us.
thank you.
And we will see you either Saturday night for packet pickup at 5 to 7. Trisha's race clinic 6 p.m. or we'll see you on race morning starting at 5:30.
To all the first timers, you're going to make mistakes. Actually, to all the experienced triathletes, you're going to make mistakes. Every race you make mistakes. Don't let it get you down if it didn't go exactly the way you wanted to. It's a learning experience. Hopefully you'll enjoy the day. The weather forecast is fantastic, and just pace yourself and have a good time.
Right. Yeah, that's along to piggyback on what Andy's saying. Just doing this race, I mean, that in itself is a personal best. So don't worry about like trying to be, fast or those pressures that come on you. Just go out there and have a good time. So we love to have you there, and we're really looking forward to seeing you on Saturday and Sunday. Bye-bye.